The Real Hustle Podcast.
Hey everybody, Mark McKenna. Welcome to the Real Hustle Podcast today. Today is a special day. I think a lot of our listeners are going to be really impressed of our guest today. I kind of kept it a secret. So we've had people from the Howard Stern Show. We've had great professional athletes. We had amazing entrepreneurs. But I'm going to give you a little background today of our guest's resume, and then I'll introduce him. 16 and a half years as a Navy SEAL. Over 400 combat missions. So, I mean, listen to that. 400 combat missions. Decorated 53 times with honors. 2 silver stars, 4 bronze stars with valor. If you don't know what valor is, it's the president gives you the award, okay? Joint Service Commendation Medal with valor. 3 president citations, 2 Navy and Marine Corps medals with valor. Served on SEAL Team 2, SEAL Team 4, and SEAL Team 6. Was part of Operation Red Wing, which extracted lone survivor Marcus Luttrell, which the movie was based on. Was the lead paratrooper in the rescue of Captain Richard Phillips, which is about the movie Captain Phillips with the Somali pirates. I love that. The lead paratrooper, okay? And Operation Neptune Spear, team leader on the mission to kill Osama Bin Laden, and the person who took out Osama Bin Laden. Author of 3 books. With us today, Rob O'Neill. Rob, thanks for coming in today.
Me, Mark. Appreciate it.
So,
awesome.
Number one, thank you for your service. I mean,
it was an honor, and whenever any veteran says they don't want to hear that, they're too humble. A lot of combat veterans, especially, have humility. It's always nice to hear. I'm just saying, I appreciate you saying that. Thank you.
And we come from a military background. My brother was a Marine, went to the Naval Academy. My stepfather was a commander in the Navy. So we understand the sacrifices, and people don't go out of their way enough to thank veterans. When I see a veteran in uniform on the street, if they're at a bar, I'm buying them a drink.
Yeah.
I'm thanking them right away.
That's very cool too. You see them in the airport, and they're having a meal or a beer. Just pick up the tab. I do the same thing too now, and we'll thank guys, men and women, for their service. They're doing incredible things. Underpaid, overworked.
Everybody knows we're in the real estate world. And I get so angry that a lot of home sellers actually discriminate against VA loans. I'm like, because they're 100% financing, they're not as strong.
Yeah, they're giving.
I'm like, this person served our country. Like, you have to put them in the forefront. Don't push them in the back because you're not getting the money you want, or you think the deal. If I tell you the deal's good, stick with the deal.
Yeah, I agree.
That's the least you can do. So let's dive into a little bit. So let's talk about, growing up in Montana, okay? So rumor has it you were a pretty decent basketball player.
I thought so. And I was good for Montana.
Okay.
Which means I could shoot. I was a 6 foot tall white kid, and I should have been smart enough to realize the NBA quota of 6 foot tall white guys was covered by John Stockton.
Yeah, that's about it.
Because he's fast. I'm not. But no, we got good, and the reason we got good that I learned early from my father, who I played basketball with, and he played at we played at the same high school. He played at the University of Montana. I played at Montana Tech at college level. But what we learned without realizing we were learning it was we mastered the basics.
Okay.
We got really good at the simple stuff, and then it will grow from there.
So was Montana Tech, was that Division 1, 2,
No, Montana Tech is NCAA. NAIA, thank you.
NAIA.
And then Montana is NCAA Division 1 AA.
So
I've forgotten. There's a lot of acronyms in military. It's been a long time since I played.
So you played
college ball
in high school. Would your brother play too?
No, my brother was all-state cross country of all things, which is unique too. That's why I was so good at running when I got to San Diego, because we lived at just over 5,000 feet altitude.
Okay.
So you're not.
You got an advantage there. Mm-hmm. That's good stuff. So you're a young kid. When do you start playing around? Were you a hunter? Was that what got you?
Well, we did both, because we would play basketball once the the snow thawed, which in Montana can be late March or early July.
Okay.
So you start doing it then, and then hunting season's coming up, and that's the biggest time of the year. And right at the end of hunting season is when basketball season starts. So we would play ball and wait till hunting, because hunting was it was awesome. Everything from bragging rights to what you killed to putting the meat in your freezer to doing all that.
So elk, what do you have?
We started with antelope, then we would hunt both types of deer, which was kind of like when you go to a bar and say they have both types of music, country and western.
Okay.
We would hunt whitetails or mule deer. And then elk I got into, and elk's the smartest animal up there. And I got to a point where if I killed a deer, it's because I went elk hunting, didn't find an elk, and on the way back to the truck, I found a deer.
Gotcha.
And that was seriously it. And occasionally you can get a special permit for, Montana's got moose, bighorn sheep, mountain goats, and you can get a special permit for that, but you have to get into a lottery. But we managed to get those too. My wife calls me the luckiest unlucky man in the world. Like, I could step in a pile of shit, I'll find a diamond.
There you go. That's a good thing. That's a very good thing. So when do you start hunting when you're in Montana?
I started hunting when I was about 13 or 14, and that was because my dad got divorced for the second time.
Okay.
And his brother Jack said, well, you need to... It's one of those things where if you're depressed, get out of bed, put both feet on the ground. If the sun is shining, today's a good day. You get over it. And his brother Jack, my uncle, convinced my cousin Corey, Jack's son, to go hunting for antelope. And we were so bad, we had no idea what we're doing. We went out, and I think it was a two-door Subaru car to hunt antelope. And antelope are the fastest animal in North America. But they won't go in the trees, and they won't jump fences. So I went out there and saw a turkey shoot from the day one, where now being a 47-year-old Navy SEAL range officer in charge, some of the shit I saw those Montanans do, they would all be written up for safety violations. But it's just people driving everywhere, shooting around, they call it a Polish ambush. I love Poland, God bless them. But it's when everyone's shooting at each other.
Yeah. You always see in the first day of hunting season, a couple people always get shot. I used to go to school in Virginia. Always happens.
Antelope hunting in Montana is so bad, some people deserve to get shot. It's just so horrible. But yeah, we started with that. But then like I said, we mastered the basics. We slowly got better at what we were doing. And then we got to the point, we were killing Kodiak bears, Alaskan moose, caribou up in Alaska. Like, that's awesome. We got good at it. But it started off like most things start off. He got dumped by a girl. Let's go on an adventure.
Let's try something.
Let's do something else. Yeah, I'm too arrogant to put a gun in my mouth, so let's put one up to an antelope that won't jump the fucking fence.
So at what time, and how long did it take you to realize I'm pretty good with this gun stuff? Like, I got a good... It just started to make sense. And I think shooting a hunting rifle was the same as shooting free throws. That's why I think basketball, it coincided with hunting, but then that coincided with everything in the Navy, to being a sniper, to being a SEAL. Get good at whatever you're doing, manage your breath. So how do you get good at what you're doing?
What I'm doing now, or what I did then?
What you did then.
You take a breath and slow down. If you want to, if anything you're doing right now, keep it simple. If you want to speed up, slow down. You are moving faster than you think. And it's almost like with the leadership, how everything is, people react. It's contagious. Panic breeds panic, but
Correct.
Calm breeds calm. And if you're leading a team, regardless of what you're feeling, they can't see that. They can't see the urgency or the depression. They can see you being calm. That's why when someone teaches CPR to someone, and if you say you're the guy that knows it, the first thing you say is, you call 911. You do this. You get a vehicle. You come here, grab his feet, put him up. Because you're breathing calm, and you might be freaking the fuck out, but you're being calm. And so that was we just got good at the little stuff and little victories equal big victories.
So it was everything was second nature. You always kept your cool. Made it nice. But
then it was also, we were not believers in this is the way we've always done it, because people will say this is the way we've always hunted. And one of the things that we, especially with elk, because elk was the biggest trophy you're going to get in Montana. And I've known people that hunted for 2 decades, never saw a bull elk, and that's the male. So the cows don't have antlers, the bulls have the antlers. But I noticed that they're all lazy, and they're hunting from the road. They're driving up and down. The elk are smart, and they see that. And so I started to watch this is a 16 and 17-year-old high school student, I started to notice their habits. What the elk are doing is they wait until the sun's going down. They come down to the fields because they got to eat. And as soon as the sun starts coming up, they got to go back up the mountain. And the reason they're going back up the mountain is to avoid the wolves, avoid the mountain lions. And they sit in a perimeter. They're waiting to smell the threat because they're prey animals. But what I noticed was they got to go somewhere. What if I'm there first? What if I use the wind to my advantage? What if they don't know I'm there? First 7 days, you might not see shit. That 8th day, then the elk come out and you found them. And you're just there waiting. You're not trudging around. You're not, they can't smell your Copenhagen or whatever dip you're using. And so we got good at it just because we were thinking outside the box. You don't need to, just because someone's always done it this way doesn't mean you need to do it that way. And that's how you can be successful.
And, that going back to that whole calm piece, when you're playing basketball and some guys just lose it when they're on the foul line at the end of the game. When you just and you're so used to all the practice and the practice that you do.
Breathe.
And it's funny you say that because people don't realize how important breath is.
Oh, it is. It's everything. What's the one thing you need more than anything to survive?
Is life.
Breath.
That's right.
Well, I get pissed now watching the NBA. And I'm talking a professional basketball player who has been the best player on every team he's ever been on. He is since 5th grade. This dude, whatever, and I don't care if it's in the second quarter, and he's got a 1-on-1. He'll do his thing, do your ritual. That's fine. Take your shot. You make one. You start. No, you just made it. Your feet are perfect. You're right where we need you to be.
Don't celebrate.
I will slap your ass in the shower later. I got a job to do. That bothers me because stop celebrating. And well, like when Barry Sanders used to score touchdowns, and Barry Sanders, other than Walter Payton, the greatest, yeah.
Bo Jackson.
Well, obviously hip injury. I got you. But what you never saw Barry Sanders celebrate.
Never.
And they asked him, why is that? And he goes, I like to act like I've been there.
Mm-hmm.
And that will reflect your. He's playing on the worst team in the damn NFL.
Yeah.
Yet he kept him in the game, and he never left the team. And that's loyalty. That's another story. I'm going off on a tangent on
this. It's okay. It's all good. So you're in Butte. You're hunting. You're playing basketball in college. So rumor has it you left because of a girl?
I got dumped.
You got dumped.
Yep. And I left to join the Marine Corps. Your brother was a Marine.
My brother was a Marine, yes.
And like I said, my plan was to play. Whenever you make a plan in life, God laughs at you.
Mm-hmm.
Because life happens around you. My plan was to play basketball. Montana Tech's actually a great school, great mining school, engineering school. I'm going to get an MBA, probably at University of Montana, work with my dad. Got dumped by a girl. I need to leave town.
How big was the town?
38,000 people.
Okay.
Mountain town, mining town.
Mm-hmm.
So the quickest way out of Butte, Montana is to join the Marine Corps. And I grew up with 2 dudes, Ben and Jim. 2 years older than me, went to Butte Central Catholic High School with me. We knew they wanted to be Marines since we were in grade school. And, I'm talking, as soon as they got their crappy Chevy truck, they had the USMC and the EGA, and they joined. And I would see those dudes come back when they're on leave. And so they went to boot camp boot camp. I forgot, Army calls it basic. The Marines call it boot camp. They would come back on leave, and I would, like little shit, like I would see Jim out PT and running on the frontage road with his Marine Corps shorts, no shirt, tan, buff. I would run into Ben at the VU Villa. Like, if anybody wants, this is a tough town. If anybody wants to fight him, they're going to lose bad. This is the tough guy. I want to be like them. I know what Marines uniforms look like, and I've seen Full Metal Jacket. That was it. That's what I knew. That's how much I knew about the military.
And that was your quick ticket.
I went right down the street. It's right by Safeway, which is a grocery store. I walked in, and as luck would have it, the Marine recruiter was not in the office. The Navy guy was. And the only reason I went in to see the Navy was Ben and Jim told me the Marine Corps is actually part of the Department of the Navy. It's just the men's department. So I walk in there, a guy by the name of, his name is Chief Judy. So Chief Petty Officer, which is a senior enlisted guy in the Navy, Judy. And he's in his khakis, he's got his anchors. I didn't know at the time that Chief Petty Officer in the Navy is the most clever motherfucker in the world. And no, they run the Navy. These are the dudes. They run the ships. They smoke the cigar. They tell the officers everything's fine. The chief's running it.
Smooth.
And but good. And he said, I said, hey, I just thought he would know where the Marine is. because part of the Navy. And I said, where's the Marine? If anyone's going to know, you will. And he's like, why do you want the Marine? I want to be a sniper. Marines have the best in the world. He goes, look no further, my friend, because we have snipers in the Navy. You need to be a Navy SEAL first. No big deal. Get through that. We'll send you to sniper school. And he kind of brushed over that whole Navy SEAL thing. It's like, fuck it. I remember looking at him.
So you signed right then?
I signed right then, and I said, I'm kind of naive, but this is a professional recruiter. Why is he going to lie to me?
Signed.
And then I was fortunate to sign up for the delayed entry program, which is I signed in June or July. I'm not leaving till January.
Okay.
So I had time for him to show me videos of Navy SEALs. So horrifying.
All right. So you weren't on the swim team.
I didn't know how to swim.
Okay. That, like, to me,
there wasn't a swim team.
So like, like, how do you process that thought? Like, you start watching these videos. You got a couple months to practice.
I was trying to be optimistic, and I thought I still have my student ID to the to where I played college basketball. There's a pool in there. I can still get in. I'll just go teach myself how to swim.
Not easy.
And I didn't know that. I went into the pool. I'm standing at the edge. I remember looking at it, thinking, okay, it's 25 meters down. It's 25 meters back. I'll swim 1,000 meters and gauge it from there. And I jumped in, got 25 meters and realized this is where the problem started. Now, again, being lucky, instead of being good, a friend of mine named Mike Driscoll came in, and he's one of the few guys that did swim. He actually went to swim at Notre Dame. And I got out of the pool exhausted. Like, that's a lot of work, especially when you don't know the technique. And Mike said, don't take this the wrong way. It's great to see you. I've just never seen you in the pool before today. What gives? And I said, I joined the Navy today, and I'm going to be a SEAL. And he's like, not like that. You're not. No, and
exactly.
and then he.
That's the right answer.
No, but he got it, and he asked me what the prerequisites to get in. And I told him the swim, and he goes, okay, that's the breaststroke and the side stroke. Here's how you do it. So start working on this. Bring some Gatorade on each end or whatever. And I worked on that. I ran into Jim, who was a Marine now. He was an aircrew guy, and they swim a lot in the Marine Corps. And he taught me the combat recovery stroke, which is a modification of the side stroke. And I got to work for 5 months by myself with that one. And I thought I was good. And then I went to the Navy.
See, and my daughter was a swimmer, and she swam all through high school. And that is a tough sport.
Yeah. When
you're a swimmer, because you're out there on your own. And like, for someone who's never swam, and when I look at your story before you became a SEAL, I just thought that was one of the most amazing things, how you go into this and you got, I got 5 months to learn how to figure this out in a quick way.
Yeah. Well, and once I got there too, the Navy's good at keeping it simple. It's not like we're out there swimming the butterfly, but we are swimming that combat recovery stroke for 5 miles, 7 miles. And it's just one of those things where, how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time? It's kick, stroke, glide, kick. And that's a good t-shirt for life. How do you get through life? Kick, stroke, glide, repeat.
It's good stuff. So you're training, you're getting ready. It's January. It's time to go to training. How long is Navy SEAL training?
Well, I went to boot camp at Great Lakes, Illinois in January 28th, 1996. Okay. And this is a good part of the mindset. I'm leaving Butte, Montana, a mining town. I've been to different places, but I'm kind of in a bubble where it's almost afraid to leave Butte, Montana, because I know this and I'm safe. I'm assuming everyone else is better than me. I'm assuming that dudes from Long Island, dudes from Chicago, they're tougher, they can run faster. Guys from South Florida, they're surfers. But I remember getting to boot camp, and I met 2 dudes from rival gangs in LA. I met that tough guy from Long Island. I met a guy from Iowa who was a college wrestler, and all we had in common was we're scared right now. And that's when it kind of sunk in. We're all thinking how I made a horrible mistake, but we're all scared. We all have that in common. And I started to realize it doesn't matter what you look like or where you're from. You can do anything you want as long as you keep your head in the game. So I went through boot camp, which wasn't hard. And then, the hardest part about that was not sleeping and learning how to fold a t-shirt, learning naval traditions. And then I did qualify for SEAL training. Then I went SEAL training. And I went there just thinking, I'm not going to make it through, but I get a nice barracks room on some of the nicest beaches near the Hotel del Coronado. So I'm going to do that. And then I'll probably go on a ship for a few years and then go back to Butte, Montana, sit at Maloney's bar and drink for 4 months telling sea stories. But when we got there, I had speaking of mindset, they sat 227 of us down in a room. So we're sailors that want to be Navy SEALs, but we didn't know what it was, because SEAL training is not like boot camp. It's not like where they come in with the hats and they're hitting the trash can. Mm-hmm. You need to be at a certain time at a certain place at 4 a.m. with a full head count. I don't have time for that shit. Be ready to rock and roll. And you need to be here and here. Where I'm not babysitting. You better be here, all of you. And you're all accountable for each other. But a SEAL instructor came in to talk to us, and I'll never forget this. I tell myself this every day. He said, look, I know you've seen the movies. I know you've read the books. Regardless of what you've been told, this course is not impossible. Okay, people graduate. Look at me. Mm-hmm. I'm living proof. So I will, 85% don't make it through. But he said, I will never ask you to do anything impossible, but I will make you do something very hard, followed by something very hard, followed by something very hard, day after day after day for 8 straight months. And that sounds like a lot to get from now to 8 months from now, but don't think about it that way. That is not how you achieve a long-term goal. I want you to do it like this. Wake up in the morning on time, make your bed the right way, and then brush your teeth. That's 3 victories. You started the day with 3 wins. Make it to the 4 a.m. workout on time, and as I'm beating you, don't think about the pain. Concentrate on your next goal in life, which is breakfast. After breakfast, make it to lunch. After lunch, your next goal in life is making it to dinner. After dinner, do everything you need to do to get back inside that perfectly made bed. And because you took the time in the morning to make your bed the right way, regardless of how bad today was, and it will be bad, tomorrow's a clean slate. Tomorrow's a fresh start. And when you feel like quitting, which you will, do not quit right now. That's emotion. Quit tomorrow. And if you can keep quitting tomorrow, you can do anything in life. And that was how you get through training.
That's awesome.
And that's life. That's how we got through the pandemic. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. Breakfast, lunch, dinner. And that's dope. And that's again, mastering the basics. Get really good at the simple shit. What I would tell my guys in combat, don't talk yourself into an ass whooping.
So did you hear, to my listeners out there, hear what he said? Master the simple shit, right?
Yeah.
That's what you just said. Get segmented wins throughout the day. Okay, you get it in the morning, you make your bed, you get through lunch, you get away. That's what we talk about all the time. Now, we're not Navy SEALs, okay? We're selling real estate, and we're in sales and different things, but it's the same shit at a different level. So if you just get those wins daily, and this is the one thing that when I was prepping for this interview, that's what I'm relating to, because the number 2, we hit on it. How your mindset in this battle when you're going through is 95% of the.
Keep yourself a few inches in front of your feet. And I'll get people that ask me. I give motivational speeches all the time. Like, so you never thought about quitting? I'm like, no, I thought about quitting every second.
Every second.
Every second I thought about quitting. But why didn't I quit? I had an instructor say, we had he also said, because they're like, well, so you've never failed. I'm like, I fail all the time too. Mm-hmm. It's okay to fail. Once you quit, that's a big failure. I've never lost. I've either won or I've learned. And that's it. When we started a thing called Hell Week, which is when they wake you up on Sunday, you don't sleep till Friday, and you're awake the entire time, and you run the equivalent with a 7-man boat crew with boats on your heads, 6 marathons in that week. One of the instructors said to me,
150 miles.
You're running constantly. You're moving constantly. And again, like guys would say, well, as long as I'm moving, at least I'm not dead. But one of the instructors before we started Hell Week said, you're about to go to war for the first time, and the enemy is all your doubts, all your fears, and everyone you know back home that told you weren't good enough to do this. Keep your head down, keep moving forward no matter what, never quit, and you'll be fine. Keep moving forward. And that was it. And when we got, not to jump off of training, but when we were on the mountain to try to rescue Marcus Luttrell, we're up for days at a time. And I remember looking at my guys on a mountain in the Konar province, in the Korengal Valley, basically the most dangerous place in the world. And I said, guys, this is why training is so hard, because if we were going to quit now, where are we going to go? Mm-hmm. We're just here. So we might as well keep moving.
That's amazing.
But it's the same mindset.
It totally is.
Yeah.
It totally is. And that's the key thing. Like, people, when you talk about fear and like in real estate, we talk about comfort zone. Everybody is afraid to get out of
your comfort zone.
I mean, and I say it all the time. When you're afraid of things and you don't expand your horizon, you're done. You lose. You lose in everything you do.
I got to give you a good example of fear. I've had people ask me, so Rob, you've been on 400 combat missions.
By the way, is 25 a year for 16 years.
It's a lot, yeah.
Okay, every 2 weeks.
But they said what's an interesting point, Mark, is they said, what's it like to have no fear? And I said, you know what? I don't know. Because I was afraid every single time. And it's so, but see, because people don't get out of their comfort zones because they don't realize it's okay to be afraid because fear is natural. Mm-hmm. And fear will make you think more clearly. Without fear, there would not be courage. But the fine line, well, here's an example. Think about the last time you watched a scary movie by yourself about the devil or whatever, and you can hear everything in your house. That's fear working for you, making you think more clearly. The fine line is panic. And panic will get us killed. And the way that I explain panic is contagious is, do you remember the great toilet paper debacle of 2020?
Yeah.
You know why that happened? Because toilet paper is not a survival mechanism. It's nice to have. Mm-hmm. It keeps the shower from being awkward. But some asshole decided, that he needed toilet paper. So he went to Walmart, bought it all, where some other asshole saw him and freaked the fuck out, went to Lowe's. He bought it all. And all of a sudden, people keep buying all the toilet.
It went viral.
But calm is also contagious, like I was saying. Panic is contagious, but so is calm. If you can explain to that dude, hey, dog, toilet paper is just like, you know what? Buy one of those shower head that move. Trust me,
you don't need it.
Life changer.
Especially when you can't go anywhere. You got the shower.
I got those. During the pandemic in my house in Tennessee, I bought those bidet toilets with a little thing.
Little button.
Yeah. My only complaint about those bidets is the stick figure with the circulating water going up his ass should have a big smiley face on it, because I want to be that guy.
That's awesome. That is great.
It's true.
So you finished SEAL training. So that's a full. I mean, SEAL training's how many? 8 months.
Yes.
Monday to Friday?
Yeah. When it starts, technically, I think it's 28 weeks.
Okay.
And then, but before that, the prep time. And they've always tried to get smarter with the prep. They want guys to be more fit, better nutrients, more prepared. Mm-hmm. But yeah, it's about 8-9 months to get through, but then you're not done yet.
So weekends,
Weekends you get to recover what you need. They work you so hard. If you don't have weekends off, you're going to die.
Did you relax on weekends?
That's the problem. I was 19, so no.
Yeah, I was going to say.
No, here's the thing, though. I'm 19, so I can't go out in Coronado or San Diego. I got to go to Tijuana, which we did.
Yes.
Oh, and that was funny when we were, and that was like with the guy with the whistle and the tequila bottles. And then, some of our best times, and we had some of our, okay, this is kind of a sensitive subject. But I'm always asked why they're not more minority SEALs. Here's the deal. It's 85% of everybody doesn't make it. So, 15% of white guys make it, 50% of black guys, 50% of Latinos make it. Mm-hmm. But so I would find myself with, 3 or 4 of the others. When we got too shit-faced, we're trying to walk one of my friends of color over the border. You're showing papers.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, we're just trying to get back to BUD/S. But they had a relationship with the BUD/S instructors knowing, okay, these are the young SEALs that can't go out to Danny's or McPee's in Coronado, so
send them to Tijuana.
Find his flip-flops and get him out of here. So that happened. I'm not making a story up.
So when you when you get through SEAL training and you get through Hell Week, and 15% of the guys make it through, right? So immediately, are you out on missions?
No.
Like
when we first started, when you get through SEAL training, you don't really know anything yet. Okay. So they need to put you through more training. So we had to go through airborne training with the Army, learn how to jump out of planes. 13 weeks of SEAL tactical training, which is the finer points. Then we had a 6-month probationary period of observations and drills and whatever. And then you're awarded the insignia for Naval Special Warfare, which is the Trident. And then you get to a platoon, which is 16 guys. That platoon works for a year.
Together.
Then you go overseas. So my first deployment was 2 years after I enlisted.
2 years. Okay. Mm-hmm. So you're in for 2 years, and then that last 14 and a half years, Then you have...
Well, once you get to a level where you're deploying, you'll deploy, come back, train with a year to, you got to get your group congruent with each other and then deploy. So I did 4 deployments like that. Then I went to SEAL Team 6, and that's another year process to get into there.
And how many total SEAL teams are there?
Well, there's the way that they divided them up was the odd numbers are in Coronado, 1, 3, 5, 7, 2, 4, 8, and 10 in Virginia.
Okay.
And then there's 6 that I didn't know about until I got there.
So that's the special group.
But that's the counter-terror group. That's a tier 1 unit, yeah.
That's awesome. So
you know why they call it 6?
No.
When we first started, not we, I think in 1962, they founded SEAL Team 2 on the East Coast, SEAL Team 1 on the West Coast. Mm-hmm. And that's how they kept it simple. Then in 1980, they commissioned SEAL Team 6 because they knew the Russians would say, there's SEAL Team 1, SEAL Team 2, and SEAL Team 6. Where the hell are 3, 4, and 5?
How about that?
Pretty smart.
Yeah, that is.
That was Richard Marcinko, hero. Have you read Rogue Warrior?
I have not.
Read Rogue Warrior. It's about Richard Marcinko, the baddest motherfucker. He was a Navy SEAL that founded SEAL Team 6, ended up in prison because he was so good. He was getting his guys the weapons they needed. The head shit hated him. And he went to prison and he figured, it was an outdoor gym. In the winter, he would lift with no shirt on just to prove I'm a bad motherfucker.
Sounds like one.
Yeah, Marcinko's a legend, the Vietnam legend.
So when you're in your first SEAL team was SEAL Team 2, right? That's where you started?
SEAL Team 2.
So 16 guys in the group?
About 16, yes.
16. How often do those parts move? And that, like guys in the group, do they come out and they move on every couple of years?
Usually you lose 3 guys per platoon we call it a rotation. So that'd be a workup of a year and then a rotation of 6 months overseas. And then you come back and guys do everything from they promote themselves out of a job or, it's time to leave somewhere else. But usually we stay together. And pre 9/11, it was just because we're overseas, we're training with our allies. Mm-hmm. But guys generally stay in the same core, and then you get to a level where you can attempt to try to go to SEAL Team 6.
I mean, you have to be so tight with those guys. I mean, that's got to be a bond.
Yeah, the camaraderie is amazing.
Like nothing.
Well, that's what I've seen interviews with people that have done everything like that with small units, and the camaraderie you get, the family that you build with these guys. You almost know them better than they know themselves, and it's that when people ask me, "What you miss anything?" I'm like, "I miss the guys."
Yeah, I mean,
that's it.
That was my next question.
Yeah.
Like,
I miss so much fun. Because I've said this before, the recruiting posters look cool, but 95% of the job sucks. Like, it looks awesome to be sleeping in that swamp because the enemy can't find you. It fucking sucks. But the skydiving trip to Tucson that I take 11 times a year. Yeah. So knock out 6 jumps a day, repack your chute, go to Nelson's Bar, Trident, drink beer. That's a black. Wake up the next day, skydive. Yeah, I mean, and that's what keeps the camaraderie together, because it's not when you get in a gunfight with people you've never met.
That's the problem.
And it doesn't become about politics or apple pie or freedom. It's I'm going to fight for the guy next to me. And if someone gets hit, God forbid, it's like I'm not running back because it's a movie. That's the motherfucker that I was with at the Trident. That's the guy that helped me with this parachute pack. I'm going to get him out.
Yeah, I mean, that's just got to be such a bond. Like,
oh, it's amazing. But I mean, it's the best too, because the dark moments create the best humor. Mm-hmm. And some of the funniest jokes I've heard have been in the worst moments. I had a buddy he called it a snake bite kit. Snake bite kit. And that's when we're just training. We don't do this at war, but we're training in a swamp. You're breaking ice you want to sleep in a hammock, whatever. It sucks. And a buddy go, oh boy, this sucks. Oh, got bit by a snake. You pull out a flask of whiskey. It's like snake bite. Oh, I got bit by a snake too. But I mean, the little shit, Yeah,
that's great. So you get yourself up. So when you were at the Lone Survivor with Luttrell, that was at SEAL Team 6?
I was at 6, yeah.
I was at 6. So, and you're the lead paratrooper going in
for Captain
Phillips. Yeah. What was that like?
Well, that was a unique mission, because SEAL Team 6, like I mentioned, in 1980, was designed to rescue American hostages at sea. Mm-hmm. Designed. But it had never been done. That's 28 years, never been done. But we had been promising we can be as a unit at a certain place, at a certain time, give or take 30 seconds in the world. Never been done. And it was Good Friday, April 10th, which is my birthday.
Okay.
And I was at my daughter's Easter tea party for her preschool. And we just finished a rotation. I'm giving her cookies and cupcakes and shit. I got a pink plate, and I got a message that a guy by the name of Captain Richard Phillips had been taken by Somali pirates on the east coast of Africa. They're calling my team right now to go get him. Never done it. This team no one had done it.
28 years of prep and no one's ever done it.
And 15, we were selling it. 15 hours and 46 minutes later, we had a full head count in the Indian Ocean. And then on Easter Sunday, a day and a half later, we rescued Richard Phillips with some shots from our amazing snipers. And we were able to do that because we were prepared. Not only did we not ever do it, no one ever thought of a Navy destroyer pulling a lifeboat. And the snipers weren't there to kill the pirates. They were there the orders were watch them, make sure nothing unsafe happens as we prepare for the rescue. Mm-hmm. As we're preparing for the rescue, something unsafe happened and they shot. There was no countdown. 3, 2, they just shot. And the dope thing about being prepared was imagine their mindset. Those 3 snipers, 4 days prior, were in their own beds in Virginia on a long weekend for Easter.
Boom.
You know what? We're not doing anything. I'm going to drink beer all weekend. I'll take care. We've never done this. I'll take care of my gear and sight my guns in on Tuesday. They didn't do that. They took the shots on Sunday because they were prepared.
That's
28 years.
Yeah, and finally, now it hasn't happened again, correct?
No.
It's one.
No. They've done different jumps, but no one's done that hostage rescue.
Yeah,
no.
That's what I'm saying.
No, but that's one of the things. Like you never know until you know.
You're always ready.
The normalcy bias is getting lulled into a sense of security just because something's never happened doesn't mean it won't today. Mm-hmm. Like I heard Tulsi Gabbard give a speech the other day where she said when they would leave the base in their convoy, there's a sign that said, "Is today the day?" And you got to ask yourself, is today the day? Well, I'm going to make everything out of today because this might be it. Life can change in an instant.
What you practice for your whole life could happen any day.
Right now.
You never know when it's going to happen. So let's dive into, the most famous part. So the mission to go get Bin Laden, okay? So how long did you prep for that? Well,
we'd been prepping for that mission for years because, but I always assumed, the 2 Tier 1 units are SEAL Team 6 and Delta Force. Mm-hmm. And I don't know if that's an exclusive, but I just said it. And when I went to SEAL Team 6, I remember getting to be a part of SEAL Team 6, which again is a selection process. And one of my first thoughts was, I'm so happy to be at SEAL Team 6 because I might get to meet the guy from Delta Force that killed Osama Bin Laden.
Right.
And we'd all been prepping. Like, is it going to be a jump? Is it going to be a swim? Is it going to be a walk for days or whatever? When they finally told us what was happening, and I'll never forget the woman that found Bin Laden came into a room to 28 of us. We ended up taking 23 of us, and she said, "The reason you guys are here is this is as close as you've ever been to Osama Bin Laden." And we had been working. And by working, I mean al-Assad, Iraq, Ramadi, Fallujah, Jalalabad City, Assadabad. We'd been adapting our skills, and it's very important whenever you do something good, debrief your team that's coming in next. Let them know. And I don't want to hear what you did right. I don't care how fucking cool you are. You tell me what you fucked up.
Yeah, what you did wrong.
Yep, and be honest. And I want 3 of them. That's it. Don't, here I did this, I took this corner, no shit there. No, fuck you. So we'd been training for that forever. And even fast forwarding to after the mission, I remember someone said, "Why were you guys so good at clearing? How did you clear a house and a compound that big?" And I said, "It was simple. The guy in front of me went left, I went right." And we kept doing that. So when they told us, we were like, "Cool, can we go now?" Because we were ready, because we'd been training and training and training, and then they told us how we're going to get there. And the only reason so 2 weeks we did train just to show the powers that be that we have, because there's 5 options, and most of them are going to destroy the whole neighborhood. And it was actually cool because the Obama administration, I don't want to get political, but President Barack Obama was in power, was the president. Mm-hmm. And but you got to figure he's up for a second term, and every first-term politician wants the same thing, a second term. So he took politics aside, and if we fuck this up, he's not going to get reelected. But he put that above everything else, and so we were training for the guys like him that are making the call. And President Obama said, I was never convinced Bin Laden was there, but after seeing you, I was convinced you could go in and find out and come back.
Did you think you were coming back?
No. That's a one-way mission.
So you get ready to go there, and I did some research, and I heard you comment of how amazing the pilots were on those.
Well, the pilots were amazing on every mission, and we were flying with Army pilots. No disrespect to any other service, but Army pilots are the best in the world. Helicopter pilots, best in the world. Best airplane, the best jets, Navy. Sorry, Air Force. But just because they had the hard job, and they had to fly these helicopters that they'd never seen. They flew on them for about a week and a half, and they took us in. They were just, as cool as you get.
So, real quick, my brother sent me a question too. He goes, ask, and this was why.
Your brother, the Marine?
He was Marine, yeah. Naval Academy guy.
Love him.
Right, Marine Corps. Didn't want to be in the Navy. Always wanted to be a Marine.
Yeah, let him know too. If I went to the Naval Academy, I would have gone Marine.
I will. I'll tell him. He couldn't be here to meet you. He was dying too. So he's like, ask him how he feels about how well the different branches work together. But how come us as Americans, the Democrats and the Republicans can't work together? He goes, it's mind-boggling.
When I talk about the top 1%, I think 1% of the country fights for the country. And again, like I think we were talking earlier before the camera started rolling, we're just a bunch of dudes that get it. And it doesn't matter race, doesn't matter sex, doesn't matter whatever. We get it. Well, when I was leaving the Navy, this is after the Bin Laden raid. I did one more deployment to Afghanistan, and I'm sitting in a room like this, and we got chairs and shit set up, stadium seating. We're watching whatever shows are on, and we're bullshitting. And one of the things when I was getting out, this is right around 2012, was Don't Ask, Don't Tell. We're going to repeal Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And that was a huge flavor of the day. And one news station saying this, the other one saying this, and everyone's yelling at each other. And it's all, and I looked at and we're on a combat. We just finished a raid. We probably killed a bunch of dudes. And I looked at my friends, knowing I've got gay dudes in here. I said, hey, by the way, do any of you give a fuck?
Yeah.
And nope, we don't. Like, well, see, you get it. So, stop with the spin of everything. But I mean, the point I'm saying is the reason I think we can't get along is we don't send every American citizen through at least 2 years of the Marine Corps. Make them jump in there.
I would think so.
Yeah, eat some of the pie before you enjoy it.
Well, I was laughing. I was like, he did 400 missions. Most people complain about putting out the trash once a week. And this guy goes on 400 missions in 16 years. And like the population is just so soft anymore.
Because great men create weak men. Great men create great times. Great times create weak men.
I got you. Yeah.
Well, but what's wonderful about the country too, though, is like I'll play Call of Duty or whatever, and we were playing it overseas, and I was a team leader, a senior chief, Navy SEAL Team 6, and I would have a 10-year-old kicking my ass, and I would be wearing the damn headset, hearing him talk shit. I'm like, you motherfucker. You better hope I don't find you.
Probably son or camera crew.
I love that they'll say, well, come find me, senior chief. Like, they're like, well, because I've getting interviewed in the past too, and they'll say, what's it like to kick kids' ass? I'm like, I have no idea. These kids destroy me. And I've met them in person where they know more about the damn guns than I do because of the games. But because we created such a great society, and you should deserve it, but also respect it and defend it.
So when you're getting ready for these missions and you're doing, like, everybody has a ritual. Like when I played football in college, I would always go in the corner and put my headset on. Like, what was your ritual that you would do before?
Well, the ritual was whatever music we were listening to. And before the Bin Laden raid, I listened to Red Nation by The Game.
Okay.
And as a white guy from Montana, that's a surprising choice. But either them, Avenged Sevenfold, whatever. And my ritual was to just kind of be by myself, have the headphones on, and check my batteries.
Okay.
Because what I would say to myself is batteries are cheap. Your life is expensive. Go back to your kids. Recheck, turn it on, then stop. When you're done checking, stop checking. And that was the Bin Laden raid was no different.
Yeah. So you take 2 helicopters on the Bin Laden raid.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell us what happens when you pull up when the helicopters go to launch.
Well, when we were going in, I had 90 minutes to sit in this helicopter. And we think we can get shot down at any moment because we don't know if these helicopters work. The pilots are great. We're flying nap of the earth, but we can get shot down. And a very valuable lesson in life is if you're worried about something right now that your worry won't affect, stop worrying about it. Why are you wasting your energy? Me worrying is not going to stop a missile. So I stopped worrying. So I'm doing whatever. I turn around. I'm sitting next to Cairo, the dog, his handler Cheese. And I remember thinking this thought. We're 80 minutes in. I looked down and one of my boys, he put his headphones on. He's asleep. I didn't say anything. I don't want to wake him up yet. But I remember thinking, you were literally asleep on the ride to Osama Bin Laden's house. My two thoughts, I shit you not, were, you have ice in your veins and I actually see why women find you attractive. And then we bank to the south one more time and we're on our attack run. And here's a point that a lot of people don't realize. Navy SEALs get a lot of credit for shit. The other guys don't. The pilots definitely don't. The air crew does not get credit, which they should, because they put their asses on the seats. If we get shot down, they're going to die as dead as I am, and their family's going to miss them. The air crew guy, his job is to make sure the helicopter works and make sure he can open the door of this new helicopter. And what if we couldn't figure the door out?
Yeah.
With just a bunch of assholes on the deck that can't, he figured out. I remember looking down, it's a city. I'm like, this is some serious Navy SEAL shit we're about to do. No one's done this. And then, and as soon as we tried to do our perfect plan, that's when all hell broke loose. And first helicopter went down. They put us out in the wrong spot.
So the first helicopter hit the wall?
No. The pilot realized he couldn't hover. And so he turned it and put it down in the dirt. So and that saved everyone's life.
He saved everybody.
Yeah.
We're not even in the door, and the pilot
get out.
Saved everybody.
Yeah. And then we don't know what happened because they were supposed to fast rope our teams out. And then they're going to put a group outside of the big wall surrounding the compound, put my team on the roof. We're going to fast rope and then jump onto the third floor balcony. And our plan was I'm going to shoot him. We are going to shoot him through the glass, or we're going to hit him this way. He's got no way out. So our pilot put us down here, put a couple guys out, went up, saw them crash, and then went back down, and he's telling us get out. And so now this is a lot of confusion on basically the most important mission in modern history. Confused as fuck. Pilots tell us to get out, we're getting out. I remember stepping out with my right foot looking at Bin Laden's house like, all right, here we go.
And then you get in through...
Well, we tried to blow one of the doors on the northeast corner with a 7-foot charge of C6. That opened with a tin can, a brick wall behind it. And the lead
dummy wall
breacher, well, he said, yeah, failed breach is bad. I said, no, this is good. That's a fake door. He's in there. And I didn't know my guys crashed, but I heard gunfire. So what I heard them saying, so the way we kept it simple was -1 and -2. So I heard them saying -1 going around, -1 going around. What they were saying was -1 going down. So I said, out of respect, I'm going to blast the carport, a double door that I know that opens. And they said, no, don't blow it. We'll open it. And I didn't know they were in there, but a door opens and a thumb came out with a glove that I recognized. Now I'm at a point, a good lesson in life. I'm at a point where it doesn't matter why we're here right now. We're just here. Somehow my guys are in this compound. And when I talk to pro football teams and give them a talk, it doesn't matter why it's 2nd and 15. It is. What we have in common is that fucking clock is ticking.
You gotta figure it out.
If we live, that's graphic for a football team. But if we get through this game, we'll talk about it. So we go in, there's a gunfight going on, and we found out that they crashed. And someone's talking to me about how they crashed. As we're inside Bin Laden's house talking about it, the way the pilot pinned the tail of the helicopter to the wall, our sniper with Cairo the dog, the Belgian Malinois, was running around. He didn't know they crashed either because he was in my helicopter. He came over the radio and said, guys inside, be on alert. Okay, they're ready for us. They have a training mock-up of our super secret helicopter in the front yard. And the boss came over, the big boss, and he goes, no, jackass, that's ours. We crashed. And the sniper said, yeah, that makes a lot more sense than it should. I was just saying, carry on. And he stopped and goes, that wasn't on purpose, was it? It's like, but like I was saying, the darkest humor comes from the darkest times.
Right.
And so then we're in there, and then I'm behind about 10 dudes that are doing their thing. And my job now is looking for bombs. I have a front row seat to a very important mission. And so I'm looking for bombs because if anyone's going to blow himself up, it's Bin Laden.
It's going to be that.
And I'm looking at my dudes, and they all have families. They all have kids. And none of them are freaking the fuck out.
Everybody's
slow as smooth, smooth as fast.
That's amazing.
I'm watching dudes run across gunfire because like I remember one little girl was separated. I remember him running across, picking her up and running her back over to her mom or her aunt or whatever, because he doesn't want her to be more afraid than she is right now. And I remember, because I'm at a point now where I'm like, I'm going to take this all in because I'm going to die tonight and I want to remember this or whatever my soul does. This is what the good guys do.
Yeah, it had to be like
ISIS, but ISIS doesn't do that. Al Qaeda doesn't do this. That's what we do.
Yeah, it's a definite.
And then they start going up the stairs, and I'm behind my guys. I'm going through my shit, and the woman that found Bin Laden said, I know you don't want me to tell you what it looks like inside this house because you'll figure it out. Because I would tell them all the time, I don't want to hear there's 17 kids and 5 women, and you tell me how many people, I'll figure it out. And she goes, I said, don't tell me what it looks like when I get in the house if you can't see it. If you tell me it's definitely right, it's going to be left. So she said, there's definitely going to be a set of stairs. You will run into Khalid bin Laden. And when you see him,
that's Bin Laden's son.
Yeah. If you ace him, you get a shot at the big guy. So I'm about 7, 8 dudes back. We're going up the stairs, and we're really good at being quiet. Like when you're done saying what you're saying, stop saying it. If you want to win an argument, shut the fuck up. Never pass up that opportunity. So we're going up these stairs. We saw him, Bin Laden's son, and they talked it out. Boom. One of our guys shot him. Then we go back up the stairs, and we're split off on the second floor. And then now we're down to one last set of stairs. There's one guy in front of me, and it's me and him. And he's looking up the stairs, and there's a curtain instead of a door, almost like a curtain. And so I got my hand on his shoulder. And the way we work through effective communication is I'm not going to yell at you, and you're not going to yell, go, go, go. I'm going to squeeze you. And so he's up there, and this is my story. He might say different if he ever tells his story, but he's pointing up and he sees what do you think are suicide bombers. I'm looking back because I want more guys to go up this last set of stairs because Bin Laden's in there and we're going to blow up. And he starts talking. He said, hey, man, we got to go. He doesn't know it's me. He knows it's one of his guys. Hey, man, we got to go. And I want more dudes. And he finally said, hey, man, these bitches is getting truculent. I have my hand on his shoulder, and my last joke in life was I whisper in his ear, I don't think that word means what you think it means. And it wasn't bravery on my part. I literally am like, fuck it, go. And so we go up, and he moves his curtain, and he jumped on what he thought, how this guy doesn't have a Medal of Honor blows my mind, but he jumped on what he thought were suicide bombers and mastering the basics. Here's how I got there. He went this way, I went that way, and there's Osama Bin Laden standing there.
Boom.
His wife Amal was here. Bin Laden was right here. He was taller than I thought. He was skinnier than I thought. He's not surrendering. He's a threat. He's a high value target, high threat environment. He's going to blow us up. I got to kill him. And I've seen, it's been 10 years or whatever. I've seen stupidity like, well, why'd you shoot him in the face? Because here's why. Because you've never dealt with a suicide bomber, which I thought I have.
Correct.
And it's very fast, very permanent, very violent. So I blasted him. I moved him again. I grabbed Amal, his wife, and I'm moving him. And I think here's the weird stories in my head that I thought it was hilarious that Bin Laden's got his youngest, hottest wife upstairs. The 2 old ones were downstairs. But I move her aside, and that's what's going through my head. But then here's where
Keep the old ones in the basement.
Seriously, that's where they were. But here's where the humanity, comes in, because for some reason there's a good guy and a bad guy, but it switches because they think they're the good guys too. As I'm moving Amal, because we're at the foot of his bed and I can hear Bin Laden taking his last breath, and I'm trying to get Amal out of the way because Navy SEALs are coming in and I don't want you to get hurt. I look down and his 2-year-old son was looking at me. And as a father, I'm thinking, he's got nothing to do with this. What the fuck? Yeah. So I pick him up, move them both, and then other Navy SEALs come in and then one of my guys came up to me and he because we're supposed to die, and he goes, hey homie, you good? And I said, no, what do we do now? And he said, now we find the computers. We do this every night. 400 times we've done this. I said, yeah, you're right. I'm back. Holy shit. And he goes, yeah, you just killed Osama Bin Laden. Your life just changed. Get to fucking work. And then we get to work.
Yeah, that's got to be like,
Yeah.
But you got to go right back into it.
Yeah. But I mean, that half a second of seeing all that shit, like, you know, you go into someone's room, there's his kid, there's his wife. Fuck, man.
Listen, I don't get blown away too much, like in this interview, like just listening to the story. But let me just say something. This is a American hero, okay? Forget about watching these athletes and these things. This is what life is all about for us as Americans. Like that story that I just told, there's not too many people in the world who can do what he did and his team. Like the part that is amazing, like every guy in that unit, when you talked about from the pilots to the guy,
all of them. Yeah.
It's unbelievable. Like, I mean, I got to tell you, I am just like, I've heard the story, but sitting here one-on-one like this, and listen to, it's like, it's amazing.
Well, I got to tell you about getting out.
Yeah, let's keep going, obviously.
Because there are more heroes involved. So my buddy told me that, let's get out of here. We're gathering all the intel. That's why we stayed. We wanted to stay 32 minutes. We stayed 47 minutes. We put Bin Laden's body in a body bag because we're going to bring him. But then we had to blow up the helicopter in the front yard. Mm-hmm. So 4 of us bring Bin Laden's body downstairs, outside to where the sniper that initiated the fire to kill the pirates to rescue Phillips is there. Okay. That's how small this team is. And we said, hey, brother, we got him. Here's your guy. And he goes, you're shitting me. Like, nope. So we had to call in another bird, blow that helicopter up. The part that no one realizes is that another helicopter came in with more pilots, more air crew, and a crew from SEAL Team 6. So SEAL Team 6 came in to rescue SEAL Team 6 on the Bin Laden raid, which is insane. We get on that helicopter and we're leaving on a mission where we're not supposed to live.
Now, how many guys are on that helicopter?
The one that I got on?
Yeah.
Probably about 12 more dudes.
12 more dudes.
And then we put another 12 maybe on. 12 or 10, and to Cairo, and then we split up, and we had other helicopters on mountaintops we were refueling, because you got to figure, there's no bases in Pakistan. Like, we got to take care of ourselves, but we got to get everyone the fuck out. So now we're leaving, and we have 90 minutes to live. If we can live for 90 minutes, to cross that, if we can cross the border of Afghanistan and Pakistan, if we can live for 90 minutes, we get 50 years. And I'd said goodbye to my kids. I'd said goodbye to my dad and my mom. But if we can live for 90 minutes, we get 50 years, right? Mm-hmm. So we're sitting there, and the sniper from from the Somali pirate thing, he took his dip out and he goes, here, take one of mine. Now you know what it's like to be a hero. I'm like, this is fucking crazy. So now we're flying, but we can get shot down for sure because they know we're here. Mm-hmm. But worrying about a missile is not going to save us. So I started the watch. Boom, stopwatch. All right, here we go. 90 minutes.
How long was that 90 minutes?
Well, it's been 10 minutes. It's been 20 minutes. It's been 30. And one of my jokes is I love pilots. I'm not a pilot, but he's up front doing our version of this. Like, it's 40 minutes. It's been 50 minutes, 60 minutes. Got to get to 90. It's been 70 minutes. And then I start thinking about sports analogies. Like, top of the 7th at a baseball game, pitching a no-hitter. I'm not going to say anything. But now it's been 80 minutes. And then I start thinking about the U.S. hockey team, Lake Placid in 1980. The bunch of goosebumps right now. A bunch of American college kids are playing the best hockey team in the history of hockey, the Russians, the Soviet Union. And they've been playing together forever. These kids should not be on the ice. They don't deserve to be on the ice, but now they're winning. 10, 9, 8, 4-3 in the third period, 6, 5, 4. And all of a sudden the pilot came over the radio. And here's why I love pilots. They're always cool. You know, like when you're flying and we make fun of their monotone voice. When you hit an air pocket at altitude and spill your drink on yourself, and the pilot immediately says, well, obviously we've hit some weather up here. And you know why he does that? That's better than him going, what the, wow, this could be it, guys. So the pilot came over. We got to cross the border of Afghanistan. The pilot came over. I can hear his voice right now, and he goes, all right, gentlemen, for the first time in your lives, you're going to be happy to hear this. Welcome to Afghanistan. Fuck. Nailed it.
Nah, and the whole...
And everyone was fine.
Just chilling and like we did it.
Well, we got back and unbelievable.
Yeah, that must have been a fun...
It was. These are going to be my best friends for the rest of my life.
One-way mission. Everybody gets out unscathed.
Every one of us.
That is incredible. I got to tell you, I'm like tired listening to the story. Like I felt like I was there when you're telling me the story. It was
when you say you were there too, you got to figure when we went in, and I've talked to a lot of FDNY, I've talked to a lot of Chicago police, talked to a lot of NYPD, Port Authority police. When we did go for everyone, and we went for you. We went for those. We went for the men and women that died in the towers. We went for the first Americans that fought Al Qaeda toe to toe on Flight 93 that crashed in Pennsylvania.
The pilot was lived here in Marlton, New Jersey. Leroy Homer.
We fought. They were not supposed to. We went for the single mom who dropped her kids off at elementary school, and 45 minutes later she jumped to her death out of a skyscraper because that's a better alternative. We fought for everyone.
Yeah, I got to tell you, people around. You should have to watch the 9/11 documentary like every 6 months as an American.
Oh, we should do it once a week and say.
It's just like unbelievable. Like that. Like that was in my lifetime, and most of us. That was the worst time in American history.
Yeah.
And then when you guys do go back in there and to take that back and take that.
Well, what about the video when the Mets were playing the Phillies? And the USA chant started coming up when we killed Bin Laden.
Oh, yeah.
And no one quite knew what was going on, but the USA chant.
The Mets and Phillies fans usually do not get along.
No, but the point is, that was New York and Pennsylvania. Yeah. Oh, and when we got back to, I remember saying to my guys, and because we're not political, but we're realists, we're like, dude, this country's finally united for 4 days, and we'll get back to hate each other.
That's awesome. What an amazing story, man. Like I said, true American heroes. Like you guys should have your own baseball cards and all. Like it just amazes me how we don't prioritize things because the media makes it so glamorous in what they do, and it's just.
Well, the good news is in real life, most people like each other. Most people are good. The media's got they've got an agenda. They make us think we hate each other. We really don't. Most people out there, they are the people that will. You know what America is not the person on different cable news stations. Most of America is the convoy that starts in Southern California, drives through Arizona and Texas, picks up more, and they go to Florida because we're all going to help each other with the hurricane. That's America, and they're real when we're out there.
Agreed. So I have an unusual question. So who is your favorite Navy football player, excluding John McKenna? I was one of my write-ins. I got excluding John McKenna. Who is your favorite football player?
I'm not going to get into favorites, especially when we're dealing with officers in the Navy Marine Corps. My favorite Navy football associate will be whoever lets them at least pass once a fucking half.
They got a new coach. I hope they're getting away from that wishbone.
Well, you got to figure. I was pissed when they can't run for 10 yards a half, but we still send money to Syria.
So we talked about what you miss most about being a part of the SEAL team. It's the camaraderie. It's the ball breaking and just being
ball breaking is the best. Ball breaking is the best. That's going to it's going to make you grow as a person.
It's funny because when I stopped playing football in college, people are like, "Do you miss it?" I go, you're going to think I'm nuts. I miss practice. Because we used to laugh like hell and like kill each other. But I mean, that's when we have some of the funniest memories like you were talking about.
Well, I mean, the little things like too, so my name's Richard, but nobody calls me Rocky. Okay, you're Rocky. Done. Like don't, why do you hate it? Because if you hate it, we'll stop.
Okay. That's great. So what's next for Rob O'Neill?
Well, that's a good one. I've got daughters. I can't talk about them too much for security reasons. I want to make sure they're as happy and healthy as ever. They're
awesome.
They're going through the same shit that I went through at certain ages. I want to have good neighbors and be good to my neighbors. And I'm in a spot too. Again, I don't want to say where I live. You know what I want more than anything? I want the gun guys to stop yelling at me for loving pump action shotguns in my house for home security. That's the best way to go. Now they yell at me like you can't use it. I'm like, yes, I can use a 45. I've shot it 1 million times. I like a pump action.
What's your favorite gun?
I'm not getting sponsored by anyone yet, but as far as home defense, let me tell you why I love a pump action shotgun.
Okay.
Because I don't believe in warning shots. I'm not taking a warning shot. If I shoot at you, guess what? We have a problem.
Correct.
I love the pump because nothing sounds like that. And if I'm not at home and my wife knows how to use them too, and I don't give a shit if it's birdshot or double up buck. If someone breaks in my house and you hear my wife do this, you have 3 seconds to either give a good answer or close the door and lock it. So pump action shotgun, I love. As far as pistols, I would prefer a 40 or a 45 hollow point.
Okay.
And then
So my friend's an instructor, and he told me the same thing. Get shotgun, pump. So
same thing.
He goes,
you got to tag him on this because I get yelled at by.
Oh, he's so excited. He's like a fanatic.
Good.
So he's like, yeah. As soon as they hear that, if they're smart,
they're going to leave. Well, I got yelled at on the internet because they said, well, you should run to the gunfire. I'm like, dude, I'm not talking about SEAL Team 6 invading my house. It's the crackhead trying to steal my Rolex. Just get out. And it's because it's like, look, for the people that say, well, you should just shoot them, you've never shot anyone. If you shoot someone in your house, you have to deal with what just happened.
That's a mess. Yeah.
Oh, you'll be mopping up
like
forever.
You're going to shoot them in the foot like you're really good. So they
like I said, warning shots are for no.
So I finally started shooting. I went to my buddy's house in the mountains and had an AR-15, and I fell in love with that. That was a stress reliever.
They're good guns.
I never thought that I would be like that. I mean, I was like, wow,
no, the AR is a good gun. It doesn't stand for assault rifle either.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's a good gun.
Everybody thinks right away.
No, they're nice guns, and it's like
gun. Yeah. So leadership talks, ton of leadership talks. I think what a great opportunity for business owners and young leaders of America to have someone like this come into your company and talk about leadership. I mean, when you're working as a unit like that, between teamwork and leadership, I mean, how much you can't learn from anybody better. I mean, in business, we fail, you lose a deal. In their world, you fail,
you lose a life. Yeah.
You lose a life. So I would think, what a great opportunity. We're going to tag you on everything.
You do.
So everybody.
I think the what I learned as a most effective leader is effective communication. Like I said earlier, when you're done saying what you're saying, stop saying it. Don't be the person that sends the email every day and say, well, we're going to go home after 1 p.m. No, whatever. If they're done working, they're done working, and let them eat. And tell people. I think what it breaks down to, if you can tell your people what they're doing and why they're doing it, that's enough. Yeah. You don't need to micromanage the shit. Micromanagement is counterproductive and a waste time.
See, in our world, I look at, you can see our core values on the wall over there. I think what we try and really do is, and I'm sure like you're SEAL, we try and hold everybody as accountable as we can possibly be. I mean, I think in the business world, people are too soft on how they treat, and people need that leadership and to be accountable. I think that's huge at what we see every day. But I got to tell you, today's one of the best days. I was so excited today. My wife was like, "Are you okay?" I had my earbuds on for like the last 3 days, listening to stuff. Like I'm like, you don't understand. An American hero, okay, is coming in to our studio today to tell his story. I couldn't be more thankful for the opportunity.
Thank you, Mark. Appreciate
and just for what you've done for this country, all the guys that you've worked with and girls and whatever. I mean, amazing what you guys, men and women, have done to help us live the lives that we live. And, anybody who's listened to us, and I say this, our younger generation, okay, you really need to look at these military people in a different light. These people are what makes our life as it is today. Okay, do not take them for granted. All right, this is just a great interview. Thank you for such an awesome time. And I hope some of our salespeople, if you're pulling any nuggets out of this, okay, you need to practice and train so much that when you're in these situations, again, I can't compare real estate to being a Navy SEAL, but when you're on these appointments and you're practicing and you're doing your script, and to be calm and not get flustered and don't panic, that's what makes you money. Okay, and that's the nugget you got to pull out.
And the realization too that I give myself my own advice every single day. You're going to slip. Calm back down.
Yeah, everybody fails, right?
Well, I mean, I'm up in New York and Philly, so I get in traffic. Mother.
It's a little different than Butte, Montana, New York, and Philly.
Oh, it's funny when they say in Butte, Montana, but we're having a little traffic today. No, you don't.
Yeah.
You're good. You're
A
fine.
deer died on the road. That's about it. So, Rob, moving forward, let's talk about what's going on in your life.
Well, I started my own podcast called The Operator Podcast. Okay. And the reason that I call it that is not because I call myself an operator. What I consider an operator is anyone who's doing anything in life to make their community better. Mm-hmm. So I was a special operator in the Navy, but an operator who doesn't get the credit is the dude who wakes up at 2 a.m. and get the trash out of Manhattan, make it a cleaner place. That's an operator. The mom who makes breakfast for her kids, gets them to school. That's an operator. The plumber, anyone who's doing anything in life to make it better. What I do on the Operator Podcast is I find stuff and I tell you my end as an operator, mm-hmm. and I want to hear what you think about it. And what I do that's unusual is, put in the comments at the Operator Podcast, and if you say I'm wrong, I'm going to research it. If I am wrong, I'll admit I'm wrong, which is weird in politics or in life.
So you're bringing guests in, or you're bringing?
I'm working on guests right now. I've had one guest so far, so I'm on episode 30. I brought on my brother Tom O'Neill, who's a DJ. Who's hilarious. Really? He's hilarious. Well, I mean, like a morning show DJ. Yeah, not like a DJ. Well, he could probably do both.
He could probably mix it up.
But just to talk to, like, whatever you're doing, if you are getting out of bed in the morning, putting your feet on the ground, looking at the sun, and doing something better, you're an operator. So I'm going to tell you what I think about the Grammys, and you tell me how I'm wrong, mm-hmm. and then I will admit that I'm wrong, and we'll talk about it. So the Operator Podcast, a lot of fun, a lot of good humor. I think I'm funny, but that's.
You know who's really funny? I don't know if you heard this comedian. Stephen Ello, do you know him?
Yeah, Stephen Ello's hilarious.
He's on tour next week. He's very funny.
He is so funny. He told me he's actually getting in shape. Didn't buy it for a second.
No way. That's the funniest thing
I love Stephen Ello.
I heard he got an ab lounger.
Ab lounger. Funny.
That was an easy one. It was a layup. I had to throw it out there. That's good. For you, those who don't know, Steve's in the recording studio today. So
he's right next to us.
We're having a little fun at his expense.
Yeah. He made this whole thing happen.
So, and the other thing, brewery?
Armed Forces Brewing Company.
Okay.
Which is good because we represent every branch of the armed forces, and we're making beers from Special Hops, which is an IPA.
That's cool.
We got Jarhead. We got all infantry stuff. Ground Pounder, Cat Shot, which is what takes the aviators off the carrier. Mm-hmm. And we're trying to design everything for the military. The one that I was going to come up with, but we didn't. We made a few cans that actually have a couple of, but we didn't want to put it out there. Was Osama Bin Laden. That's funny. But Armed Forces Brewing Company, we're expanding a little bit.
Does the can have holes in it?
That's why it sucked, because the beer was out of it.
It's got 3 holes in it.
Yeah.
Good stuff.
Armed Forces Brewing Company, the Operator Podcast. Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, awesome.
So, guys, great time. Hope you enjoyed our interview today with Rob O'Neill. I know as far in my professional career, this is probably one of the best days of my life. And Rob, thanks again.
Absolutely. Thank you, brother. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.